I feel like this year I experienced, or in the beginning of this year, I've experienced a lot of trauma, which then created me to sort of act out in a way to try to cope with the different pains that I was feeling in my life, sexual assault, a breakup, different things. And I noticed that the way that I was acting wasn't normal or typical for myself. And while I feel like over the course of this year, I've been able to come back into a certain place of normalcy for myself, there were still places where I was still acting out or feeling like I was still feeling really uncomfortable. Like I felt like there was a lot of anxiety that had been activated in me that I was still running me. And so a lot of my behaviors or ways that I was coping, like numbing and things like that, not trusting, not feeling worthy in my relationships, like just everything that was keeping me separate and in fear from actually receiving what I wanted. Like, it was almost like I was living in parallel universes. Like I'm having these things that I want and they're right here, and yet somehow I'm denouncing them, or I don't feel comfortable in receiving them. And I knew it was just this, this, I guess, pain and programs that have been trapped in me. And I'm tired of living this way and living with the fear and the anxiety and the pain and the repercussions of how I've been coping and whatnot. And so I will do anything that Renee says will work for me. I trust her with my life.
Beautiful, beautiful. Did you have any expectations around divine healing when you started?
I feel like all of the energy work and different modalities are good. I also feel like I have tried so many things, and so there's the part of me that has feared, like, is this another thing that I'm going to do, or another thing I'm going to pay for, or another thing that, we can't see it. It's not tangible. It's just energy work. And so, when I'm in that place of frustration, it's like, I just want it to work so bad. And so there was the little bit of, okay, well, this better work, that was there. But again, like, I have always trusted you and what you found. And I feel like I've gotten pretty good at trusting my own instinct when I hear about something now and what I think I need. And so I think, my expectation was more about just an openness and a willingness, and also realizing that if this is time spent for me in a place of self-care and a place where my consciousness and my subconscious can kind of come together, then that's, like, I know that works and that's great. And so I was willing to try.
Beautiful. And did it meet your expectations?
Yes. I feel every session, I feel like afterwards, I feel lighter. I feel more congruent. I think where I always get sort of disappointed is how long after do I get to stay with this kind of euphoric high and whatnot. And I realized, well, if I choose to go back into old patterns, it's like taking off the Band-Aid before it's kind of fully healed. Like then you're going to have to do the work again. So, I think that I'm much more aware of not only doing the consistent work with the energy work, but then what am I consistently doing in between those sessions that will help support me best? And, that's where I have to have this personal accountability and integrity, which is a great thing to have. So I think that the work is wonderful. And I think that it also lends to the fact that we ourselves are healers of ourselves. And so.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So how has divine healing affected your life on a day-to-day basis?
I think I am more conscious around the decisions that I'm making. for myself. I feel like even if I'm choosing an old pattern for myself, which lately so I'm not so vague, lately it's been using alcohol to deal with my feelings of anxiety, that I am more aware that I'm making this decision and I know my repercussions. I think that I feel, one of the things we've been working on is self-worth. And I think that it's been helping me and to receive the life that I want, to not push or run. Like, there's been a few times where I just felt that whole, like, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. And I've wanted to run and isolate. And it reminds me that I have different choices and options, which patterns that I can choose to create. And I'm committed to being whole and in a committed, loving relationship, which means, with myself and other people, which means that I can't run from myself and I can't run from other people. And so to act in integrity with that, I think that I feel stronger in being able to use my voice in certain conversations, like especially with the work today. I feel, more worthy of being heard and loved and seen, and that feels good.
Yay. So what would you have to say to somebody who's thinking about, should I do this? Should I not do this? How is divine healing going to help me in my life? What would you give that advice? Would you give that person who's mulling it over?
I would say to have a few sessions, to give it and give yourself time, the time that you deserve to have the healings and the insights. Like, I guess I always laugh, I was saying how I want the immediate reverse, right away, or I want the thing that I want to happen right away. And, we can spend all of this time going in one direction. So why not give as much time going in the other direction? And that it would be, it's beneficial, and that by having a few sessions, you allow yourself to almost have this openness in your mind to see more of the shifts happening and whatnot. Like, I think that if I were to have just had one session, like, I felt better after, and then, there are places where I chose things that then I'm feeling like shit again. But I can see afterwards the insights that I had from the first session, because I was staying open to the work by having a couple more sessions. Like, those, I was able to still see those insights and see how they were working in my life. If I hadn't had those other sessions and I was feeling like shit, I might have just locked it down and said, wouldn't have been so open to the gifts that I received in the first session. So I think that by having, at least a container, it's helpful to keeping my mind and my heart open to see how things are working through me, and that it's not just going to, it might not be an immediate thing, but it doesn't mean that they're not there working their magic as they unravel everything else in your life. So, in a good way.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Just that I'm really grateful, Renee, for your always unconditional love and presence and nurturing, and the space that you hold, that it's non-judgmental and is always seeing me in my highest and reminding me of my truth. And it's amazing to have a friend and a support and a guide like you in my life, as we said, over the last 5 years. So